Today we're doing a question and answer live with Doc. So be prepared to type in your questions on the live post in the Facebook page, and he will give you live answers.
There you go. Welcome, everyone. We'll get started in just a few minutes. During the presentation, if you could post your questions right there, we would appreciate that. All right. Andrea, should we just get started about 3 minutes early?
Why not? They'll come on.
If we build it, they'll come? Is that what you're saying? Okay,
yeah,
hang on.
Build it, they'll come.
All right. Did you start your video?
Let me see here if I can figure that out. It says I cannot start my video because the co-host has disabled it.
Oh, well, here. There. How about if I make you co-host?
That might work.
I didn't disable your video, you know.
Yeah, I bet you didn't.
How about now? There you are.
Okay, I'm on.
You're
But
on.
you're screen sharing, so I can see you though.
Yep.
So
yep, we got the background. We got beautiful Blanche Lake behind me. I'm out here at my friend's place in Minnesota. So.
Nice.
Hang on one second.
Like a beautiful background. That picture looks like the shores of Lake Michigan.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's get started, Andrea. I mean, if you want to kind of intro the call again, and then I'll start the recording from here.
Sure. Okay. Welcome to the Doctor's Clinic, Doc Fizz with Friends call. We hold this call every Tuesday at noon at Eastern Time, and it's found on the page, Doctor's Clinic, Doc Friends with Friends, Doc Fizz Friends with today. So you can tune in. Happen to miss it at any point in time, it's always on that page. If you happen to see this on one of your friends' pages and you're not connected to that page, have them add you in there, and we'll welcome you. And what we do each and every Tuesday is try to help people optimize their health. I'd like to introduce Dr. Kurt Fisnick, who is award-winning chiropractor and a man who does not stop researching. And your hunger for health knowledge is
Andrea.
So wild. Yeah.
Thank you for being here every week and that great introduction. So
I wasn't done.
Oh, you weren't done yet. Okay, your audio is cutting in and out, so I apologize.
Oh, no problem. Go ahead.
No. Check your audio. Do you have any background programs running?
I don't think so. Nope.
No?
Nope. Let me clean out some stuff here.
Okay.
I might clean you out, so.
Turn your video back on. It went out.
I can. I'm cleaning stuff out.
Eh?
There.
There you go. Okay. Good. All right. Well, you know, Andrea, each and every week we're here live on Facebook, and we try and bring important information. Oh, you're talking. We try and bring important information to people on different products and different questions that they might have on health. And so I sure appreciate you being here with us every week. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I'm trying to go back and forth to the Facebook page to make sure that I'm answering any questions that might pop up that people have there. You know, last week on the team call, people were asking me questions about autoimmune disorders. Since we don't have any questions quite yet from our listeners on the doctor's clinic, you know, let's bring that topic up again.
Okay. What were their questions?
Well, it seems to be that a lot of people are wondering, well, what exactly is an autoimmune disorder? You know, like one friend of mine, she said that, well, she doesn't feel sick. How can she have an autoimmune disorder and an immune issue if she doesn't feel sick?
Right.
What do you think about that question?
Well, it just hasn't affected her. It hasn't caused as much deterioration yet as it will in the future.
That's right. According to some of the research that I've read over the years, I mean, you have to lose over 50% of the function of an organ before you actually start feeling the symptoms most of the time.
How about that? We have pretty strong organs in there.
50%, you lose 50% of function. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, can you imagine driving down the road in your car and you lose 50% of the power in your engine?
No, that wouldn't work very well, would it?
Right? You're obviously going to feel that.
Right.
But your car's still going to go.
Yeah, but the problem is you're not living your life optimized.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have optimal health. And so, you know, I like to kind of relate things to cars because a lot of people can see that, they can picture it, they can visualize it, right?
Right.
And so if you're filling your gas tank half full with gasoline and half full with say kerosene, it's not going to run, is it?
No, not as well, for sure.
Not as well. But yet you take and you put that kerosene into another type of engine, like a jet engine, and that kerosene makes the jet engine run.
Right.
And so the reason I'm saying it like that is because in certain people, their body can't handle, let's say gluten, for example. Some people can. Some people actually can handle gluten, but some people can't. It's just like some engines, jet engines, can handle kerosene mixed into fuel, while other engines can't. They have to run on pure gasoline.
Right. You know,
Well,
we've talked about how the body really is a circle of interconnections all year. You know, so when it's affecting one part of the body, it's affecting several other parts of the body. So when people have less than optimal health, it's not only affecting that part, but it's affecting all the connections that work with that part.
That's right.
That many people, and I don't understand it all. You have a great understanding of it, but most of us don't have an understanding of all that interaction.
That's right. Well, in the case of autoimmune, the easy analogy is that in that gasoline powered car, if you put kerosene in it, your motor is going to spit and sputter. It's going to have less power. It's going to continue to run at least for a while. I mean, it might damage the injectors. It might damage the fuel pump and things like that. But there's not going to be any. Well, there might be a sensor that would go off and say something's wrong. But in your body, what happens is that your body has the immune system, and the immune system will detect that there's the wrong fuel, say the gluten being put in the body. And all of a sudden the immune system says, hey, what are you doing over here? Mm-hmm. And it'll build up a army of little fighters, the white blood cells, right. And they'll start to attack the invading thing. So then with the case of autoimmunity, then what happens is the immune system says, well, that gluten kind of looks like the tissue of the lung. Let's attack the lung too.
Right.
And now you got asthma.
Right.
And asthma is an autoimmune disorder. And that's what it's triggered by, is it's triggered by something that, you know, wasn't supposed to be in the body. And then the immune system says, hey, that kind of looks like the lung tissue. Let's attack that too.
I didn't understand that asthma. Of course, you have great experience with asthma, but I didn't understand that was an autoimmune disorder.
Right? And in Crohn's disease, same type of thing. The body says, hey, that looks like the tissue of the large intestine. Let's go attack that. If you have, say, arteritis, it says, hey, that looks like the tissue of the interior of the lining of the arteries. Let's go attack that. If it's rheumatoid arthritis or lupus or anything like that, you know, it attacks the different tissues. So, I mean, does that make sense? Is that something now? Could you explain it to somebody?
Yeah, sure. And, you know, maybe you could list off a couple other, like I know MS is considered autoimmune. You know, what are
ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, or upper motor neuron disease. Yeah, I mean, there's 84 listed autoimmune diseases that the World Health Organization and National Institute of Health recognize as autoimmune disorders.
Wow, I didn't understand there were that many.
Yeah. So, you know, I notice here on the question and answer page, Andrea, that Bob has asked, you know, he says, I have a friend with rheumatoid arthritis. And he says, now that we brought it up, you know, what products would we recommend for it? Well, I mean, right off the top of my head, you know, the first product we're going to talk about is Age Pill, right?
Of course, yes.
And the reason that we bring up Age Pill is because we can't make these medical claims on our product, and we can't make these medical claims on the Age Pill. And so, folks, for those of you that are listening, those of you that are watching this or watching the recording, remember, we're not talking about our product. We're talking about the ingredients in our product. And so Harvard Medical had a study that came out within the last 5 years, and they said that nicotinamide riboside actually helped to modulate the immune system. And it got it so that the immune system didn't look at the cells of the body as being different. And so it would modulate the immune system so that it wouldn't attack the self.
Oh, okay.
And so if I know anybody that has one of the 84 autoimmune disorders, like rheumatoid arthritis, the first thing I'm going to say is you want to be on Age Pill, right?
Yes. And we have a great testimony about that, about arthritis.
That's right. You know, with Mike, exactly. With it. Well, he MS. Which one are you talking about with the rheumatoid?
Margaret had arthritis.
Well, Margaret had degenerative arthritis.
Okay, so, and it helped Margaret with that.
Yeah, and degenerative arthritis, I think there's some autoimmune components of it. A lot of research are saying there's some autoimmune components to it, but degenerative arthritis is more of a wear and tear.
I get it. Okay.
You know?
But hers was like completely eradicated based on X-ray proof. Yeah,
you could see it on X-ray that her arthritis had disappeared in her spine. And so, I mean, that really should be published in a medical journal somewhere. But, well,
I think the doctor's working on it.
Isn't he actually working on it? Yeah. So with rheumatoid arthritis, then the Age Pill, that's important. What other product would you recommend?
CBD oil.
CBD oil, because it shows that it helps with the receptors and it helps to block the pain, right? How about fucoidan?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for inflammation, definitely.
Yeah.
Plus
because
it'll, you know, it gives the body tons of great energy, like cellular energy.
Yep, it helps out with inflammation, helps with that. But it also helps out with the immune system as well. Fucoidan helps with the immune system. How about Eternity?
Yeah, because that repairs DNA damage and also supplies or supports the organs.
That's right. Yeah, because resveratrol has the ability to work with the sirtuin genes And the sirtuin genes are the genes that repair damaged DNA. So when you have somebody who has rheumatoid arthritis, they have joint destruction, chances are they have some damage to their DNA.
Right.
So that'll help. We had a testimonial, Mike down in South Dakota. His mom had really horrible rheumatoid arthritis. Her fingers were all twisted up and damaged from it. And the only product she took was Eternity. Yeah. And it reversed all that. All of her inflammation went away. Her pain went away. Her fingers were able to work again.
Awesome. I hadn't heard that one. That's great.
So that's a good one. What about Balance D?
Yeah, that would probably help for sure.
Yeah, because where do these toxins enter the body? Through the mucous membranes, right? It's supposed to be a semi-permeable membrane. It's supposed to allow good things to get in and bad things not to get in. But because of pesticides like glyphosate and things like that, it damages the semi-permeable membrane, and that stuff's allowed to pass through. So Balance D is with probiotics and prebiotics, vitamin D, to help rebuild that gut lining. What other product do we have that you and I have spent a lot of time talking about? Helps with that. Body Shield, right? Fulvic acid. And, Andrea, we talk so much about the Body Shield. We gave so much information on Body Shield. In Australia, they actually ran out of the product because they watched these videos that we're making and they said, holy cow, we gotta go on these products.
Right. Well, it inspired me to go on the product too. I'm in my second month of taking Body Shield, and I just feel so much better. And actually, it seems like I'm losing weight, or not weight, but inches.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. And then another product that has fulvic acid, what would that be?
That would be Spectrumax, I believe.
Spectrumax, yeah. And Linus Pauling, who received multiple awards for his work on nutrition, he made this statement, years ago. He said that if you have a chronic health problem, chances are you've got a mineral deficiency.
Right. He said all disease comes from mineral deficiency.
That's right.
And Spectrumax has all the essential minerals in it.
It has a ton of that, right? And so when we look at that, yeah, that's another great product that you want to take when you have rheumatoid arthritis. And then another product that we have that was designed specifically for health of the joints. What product is that?
Renovator.
Renovator, exactly. Because Renovator has MSM, it's got glucosamine, it's got turmeric, and all of those things are known to help rebuild the joints, right? And so the studies are on the ingredients, on the actual extracts. The studies aren't on our products. So when we make those kind of statements, we want people to know that it's based on the studies, on the actual ingredients, because I know some people say, well, where's your studies? Where's your white papers on Renovator? Well, we aren't a research laboratory, right? We're a formula.
We research the research.
We research the research, and the research is on the ingredients, and then we put the appropriate ingredients in it. And I like how Tom describes it. He says, if you take a chicken and wave it over a pot of boiling water, you don't have chicken soup, right?
Right.
But that's how a lot of people make their nutrition products. That's how a lot of nutritional companies make their nutritional product, is they take and they put a little bit of a sprinkle of something into an ingredient, and then they say, oh yeah, we got that too.
Yeah. And that's why for 2.5 years now, I have loved working with Tom and the crew and you and Sizzle, because they do put enough active ingredient into our products. They do research the research and find out how to optimize the formula to make it the most effective, in my opinion, in the world. That's
right. That's right. And that's what you want, is that, if you're taking a product, wouldn't you like to know that you're taking the best product? Like here, I have TSX here with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you like to know that that your telomere support product is the most powerful. That's my opinion, right? I haven't tested. I don't have a laboratory to test it, but in my opinion, and based on the science behind the product, I would say that we have the most powerful telomere product.
Right. And you know, the thing is, I tell people that sometimes when I'm doing a call with them and say, you know, I truly believe that our products are the best in the world. And I say to them, every other person from every other company is going to tell you that same thing. I mean, people are going to support whatever company they represent, right? But when you get right down to it, you have to realize they don't understand the knowledge that we have about what goes behind the product, you know? So somehow you have to relay that to them so they truly do understand that we have the best products, because it's a passion, it's a mission for Tom and Tom Jr. and Tom Jr.'s son to make these products be the most effective while at the same time being non-toxic.
That's right.
You know, and it's been over 30 years that they've worked on this. So they didn't just hop on the non-toxic bandwagon in the last 2 years like everyone else. Tom is like a pioneer of non-toxic products.
Well, I like his story, how he actually got into this entire industry. You know, he was working for Dow Chemical Company, and they asked him to formulate a shampoo. So he said, "Oh, I can do that." He goes home and he pulls the shampoo out of the shower and looks at it, and he says, "Holy cow! All these ingredients are toxic." He said, "We have to wear hazmat suits at the factory when we're using these ingredients." And he said, "You know, my wife and myself, my kids are putting this on our head every day." And he started going through his house, and he said, "We can't use this anymore. We can't use this. We can't use this. We can't use this." And he started throwing away all these different toxic products, and that's how they got into the industry.
Right. You know, and like I have said before, I challenge anyone to just check your hair products, just hair products, maybe your hand soap, and see if you have sodium lauryl sulfate or sodium laureth sulfate in it. And it's usually the second ingredient besides water. And just, I mean, that is like one of the worst products or substances you can put in your body. You know, I've heard it likened to being like Agent Orange, that toxic.
Yeah.
And yet people, when I did that in my household, I had like 7 products that had it listed second in line, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And women tend to have more products than men do. I mean, we got soap, we got shampoo, we got water, right?
Right.
That's shaving cream. We need, you know, toothpaste, but that's about it.
Right.
You know, but even dish soap and laundry detergent have that sodium lauryl sulfate, and it's not a safe ingredient.
Right.
You know,
and you've mentioned so many times that once something touches your body, what is it? 20 seconds later, you can measure it in the urine.
20 to 30 seconds later.
Yeah, it moves through your body that quickly. You know.
That's right. You know, Betsy was asking, you know, what about osteoarthritis? And so the difference between osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. Now, I'm going to say that there's some research who say that osteoarthritis should repair itself as well. So they're saying that there might be some autoimmune components to it. So kind of listen to what we said with the rheumatoid arthritis, but osteoarthritis is wear and tear. And so you're not going to have as much of the immune component. So I would say that if you're working with the osteoarthritis, in my choice, I would say concentrate on age pill, because age pill stimulates the stem cells supports healthy stem cell function. And the stem cells are kind of like the little Maytag repairmen in your body. They fix things. Right. And the reason that people get osteoarthritis, of course, is because their stem cells are so busy trying to fix other things, and they don't have time to fix the joint destruction. So I would say that let's try and figure out where is your where are your stem cells working? I mean, if they're not over here working, maybe they're over here, and so let's start looking at, do you have some other issues, like maybe you have gut problems, for example.
Mm-hmm. Most
right?
of us do. Yeah.
And I would dare to say that probably 70 to 80% of people, if we really got right down to it, 70 to maybe even more, I'd say maybe even more, have issues with their gut.
Yep, I agree.
You know, and so maybe they don't have the symptoms of the autoimmune, but that's where autoimmune starts, is in the gut. And according to the Gluten Summit, boy, how many years ago was that? 3 or 4 years ago, they said that 99% of people were sensitive to gluten now in the United States.
Well, that's what they say, but really it's the glyphosates that they think that they're reacting to. And because you get a lot of glyphosates through products that have gluten, you know, there's that whole connection there. So
That's
you got to Google what has glyphosates in it, and then get rid of those products from your life. That's
right. And when you're looking at gluten and glyphosate, how does it actually damage the gut? Well, it blows holes in that semi-permeable membrane that we were talking about. So now things that normally couldn't pass through, that were blocked because of the microbiome, now all of a sudden they can pass through the gut, and then it's gonna damage the cells. It's gonna damage the other parts of the body.
Right. So like a free highway for it.
That's right. That's right. So all of that stuff makes a huge difference. You know, if it's osteoarthritis, you know, which is a wear and tear type of arthritis, I would say that you know, Renovator, like you were talking about, Renovator is a great product. It's got the, you know, anti-inflammatory effects of curcumin. You know, it's got the MSM, it's got the glucosamine, and then also, you know, we can't forget about fish oil.
Right.
You know, both with the autoimmune and with the osteoarthritis, we can't forget about fish oils, because fish oils have some anti-inflammatory properties as well, and it'll help get rid of joint inflammation. But it'll also help get rid of the inflammation in the gut lining. It'll help get rid of inflammation in the arteries, all of those different things. Because chances are, you know, most people have issues. They don't just, like, you don't find somebody that just has osteoarthritis. Chances are they got other issues going on.
Right, right. And you know, you have to have a good source of fish oil. There's a lot of fishy fish oil out there. Yeah.
And so you know, our fish oil, it's tested for heavy metals, it's tested for mercury, because of now, of course, all the waterways in America, all the waterways, they actually say in the entire world are contaminated with mercury. Did you ever hear that?
No, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, they've tested water way up in the northern parts of Michigan, in the UP. They've tested water in the boundary waters of Minnesota. They've tested the waters way up in the northern parts of Montana, in these pristine waters. And they found that they're all contaminated with mercury.
Wow. That's sad.
So I would say that, you know, in my opinion, everybody should be on Body Shield, right?
Right.
Because fulvic acid, not folic acid. Don't get that confused with folic acid. We're not talking folic acid, which is the B vitamin. We're talking about fulvic acid. And Andrea, I mean, you and I have talked about fulvic acid a lot. You know, it came from the decomposition of seaweed from millions of years ago, when the planet was covered with water.
Million-year-old compost.
Right? Million-year-old fucoid.
Yeah.
And millions of years old. And it's decomposed, and it's made this really rich soil, like in the Red River Valley where I live. all of our soil is just so rich because we were on the bottom of Lake Agassiz. Lake Agassiz was connected directly onto the ocean. I mean, they find shark's teeth in North Dakota, South Dakota.
Really, I didn't know that.
Right, and so if you're finding these ancient sea creatures, for darn sure at one point we were underwater.
Right.
And we're in the middle of the country, for gosh sakes.
Right.
So, but this ancient seaweed, it's called fulvic acid. It's decomposed, and they found that it rebuilds the gut lining. It helps to balance the immune system. And that's the whole thing, is that some people say, well, they want to boost the immune system. You really don't want to boost the immune system. What you want to do is you want to modulate it.
Right.
And so that's where I think it comes in, and it really works well. When we take a look at Mike, let's just stay on the topic of autoimmune disorders. You got Mike over there in Detroit, and Mike has shared his testimonial with us. I mean, isn't it just amazing, the results he's gotten?
It's fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, here's a guy that not that many years ago, he could hardly walk. His vision was so bad, they took away his driver's license.
Yeah, couldn't drive anymore.
Yeah, he couldn't drive anymore. He could. I mean, but you probably didn't want to if you can't see. But right, but the age pill really had some amazing results with him.
Oh yeah, he, when we visited down there in May, he shared a lot more than, somebody wants to share publicly about the improvements he's, seen in taking the H pill for almost 2 years. He's been on the H pill. I think it was like September or October 2017 he got on it. But I mean, he's driving again. He just reported he got back from a doctor's eye checkup, and his sight is not going worse. It's getting a little better, and just numerous things that have improved since he started taking the H pill.
That's right.
Some of the same things that MS people all around the world would relate to and understand without pointing them out, that you can get improvement there.
That's right. I mean, if I met Mike today, I wouldn't recognize that he has MS.
Yeah, he's looking really good.
When we saw him in May, I mean, he came walking into the presentation. I mean, and he even physically looks different.
Yeah. Like, he looks so much younger.
No, he looks 10 to 15 years younger than what he did.
Right.
So I mean, appropriately, we named it the age pill.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, what are some other questions that people ask you when you're presenting Sizzle to people? What other questions do you get asked?
People often ask about kidneys. How can I improve my kidneys? The function of my kidneys, because a medical doctor will tell you there's no way to improve your kidney function.
Yeah, and my answer to that, I don't know what your answer is, but my answer is first thing that I would do is I would look at my diet. Seriously, I would look at my diet first thing, and I'd remove all processed foods. Anything that comes in a can or in a box or a bag, done, right? I'd get rid of that stuff.
It's wearing the kidneys out from removing toxins. Yeah.
All those chemicals, anything that has sugar, processed sugar, that would be gone. I'd be throwing that out of my diet right away. Get rid of those processed sugars. I'd say more of a keto lifestyle, and it's hard to stay on a keto lifestyle. I was just talking to it with my buddies over here last night. And I said, it's tough. I mean, it's tough because everywhere you go, it's carbohydrate based food products.
Right. It's a lot easier to, like, especially like if you're on the road or anything like that. It's abundant. Carbs are abundant.
That's right.
So you have to be intentional about, like, take hard boiled eggs with you, take bacon that you've pre-cooked, Carry avocados. I carry avocados sometimes, and a little plastic knife and a spoon, and just cut it in half and eat it like ice cream.
That's what I do. Yeah. Yeah. When it's got the right texture to it. So many of them, I buy the avocados and they're hard, and it's like, darn it. Then I have
you
to
gotta wait
and squish them.
Wait for them to soften.
I don't have enough time to wait. But for getting back to the kidney problems, what other products would I recommend? Well, for sure, I would recommend Spectramax, because all the minerals, they're going to help based on the work again by Linus Pauling. But I would also add fucoidan. And I was just talking about it to Mitch here at the breakfast table this morning, because the studies that came out in April of 2018, they indicated that fucoidan extract from brown seaweed actually helped to support healthy kidney cells.
Right.
Again, we can't say our product, because it's not research on our product. We can't say cure. We can't say treat, anything like that. All I'm doing is pointing to the research that that came out, and it said, this is what works.
Right. We can't say our product did that, but what we can share is that not only, again, I think we have the best fucoidan, and Tom invented a machine that's the size of a room to process it. He has a patent on it. He got a Genius Award for it. And we have huge distributorships in Japan. And somehow I heard in the past that one of the universities in Japan got a hold of our fucoidan, because people in Japan take fucoidan often. It's kind of a regular part of what they do. And the university compared the extract that we have with their extract, and ours was considered 8 times more potent than that. Say that our product had that research done, but they were probably doing research on the other fucoidan, not our fucoidan.
That's right. Just imagine if
it's kind of like the H2 water. We've got the same thing going on with that.
That's right. Just imagine if they did the research on our product.
Right.
Holy cow. And then finally, I think this will be kind of our last one, because I'm looking at the time. We've gone over by a few minutes already. And, people always ask me about cancer, Andrea. Do you tend to get people that I think they're desperate and they're looking for answers, and they're not really given a lot of answers by their medical doctor. The doctor's pretty much, here, you're going to go on chemo, here, you're going to do this radiation, we're going to do this surgery. And they don't really get any answers. Do you get a lot of questions about cancer?
I do, and it's hard to actually share with people who are looking at that particular diagnosis, because they're scared, and they're afraid for their life, so they're wanting to follow what a normal medical procedure is, and like you said, there aren't really good options for them there. And I'm sure everybody's seen that all over Facebook. I mean, if you watch any health information at all, you've seen all the different information about that. So I don't have to go over that. But, know at the same time that there are natural things to support your body. Your body was designed to heal itself. If you cut your finger, it heals, right? If you cut your finger when you're 70, it heals a lot slower because you have less stem cells, but your body will heal itself of everything. They used to say, oh, if you had brain damage, there was no way to correct that. Well, now they know that's not right. If you take out the bad stuff and put in good stuff, the brain will heal itself.
That's right.
So, every part of our body is like that. And, they're looking at, they're researching animals that regenerate arms and legs and stuff, in the anti-aging field. And they're trying to figure out a way to help do that with humans,
That's
so
right.
Our body was designed to heal itself. And if you don't suppress the healing mechanism, and then you give it the good stuff to work with, it can heal itself.
That's right. And when we're talking about cancer, I mean, you think about it, a lot of studies are out there, and they say that cancer is pretty much all man-made. They've gone back and they've looked at, mummies from the Egyptian time. They've exhumed coffins from people from thousands of years ago, and rarely do they find a cancer cell. And so cancer is pretty much all man-made. But when we take a look at cancer, we're exposed to it every day. You have cancer cells in your body right now. I have cancer cells in my body right now. But why don't I have full-blown cancer? And the answer to it is that my immune system recognizes the abnormal cell. It recognizes the abnormal cancer cell, and it goes after it. And the immune system attacks it and destroys it and gets rid of it. And that's just a natural process. But what happens is that in order for that to happen, you have to have the right ingredients, like Andrea's talking about. Some of them are nicotinamide riboside and niacin and nicotinaminic acid. And those are all ingredients that are found in the age pill. And then you got to have the omegas. That's found in our super omega product. You got to have the resveratrol because it helps with the repair of the DNA through the sirtuin genes, and that's found in our Eternity product. And you got to have a proper functioning immune system, the Body Shield, the Spectramax, the Balance D. They all help out with those things. And even Avenger, that's one product that you and I don't spend a lot of time talking about, but even the Avenger, it helps out with all of that. And so get the immune system so that it recognizes and it fights the cancer. Now, if you've already got cancer, then you have to be a little bit more aggressive with it. I was talking to a gentleman yesterday that's got prostate cancer, and we were talking about what products do we have that will support the immune system, even a little bit more than that. And that's where the fucoidan comes in the Eternity, because fucoidan and resveratrol have both been found to have this, what they call anti-angiogenic property. And you've heard me talk about it on the calls here, but some people haven't. So I'll just say that anti-angiogenesis means that it cuts off the blood supply to the tumor. And if you can cut off the blood supply to the tumor, you can keep the tumor from spreading. You can keep it from growing. Tumors don't have a really good blood supply, but because of pesticides and hormones and things that are found in our food and our environment, we actually give the body a way of creating new blood supply to supply those tumors with blood. And so we want to stop that. And that's where, according to the science, not on our product, but if you look at the studies on resveratrol and fucoidan, it cuts off the blood supply. Sheila asked, she said, well, what do you recommend for melanoma? Well, based on the studies that came out of Harvard, David Sinclair, he said that the age pill, well, he didn't say the age pill, I take that back. He said that, again, nicotinamide riboside helped to support the healthy response when your body's exposed to the UVA and the UVB rays that can damage the skin. So when I was down in Australia, I talked about that a lot, that because of the research on the ingredients it found in the age pill, not because of the research on our product, again, because we don't, and I stress that a lot, because I don't want people to go and saying, oh, this research is on our product. It's not on our product. It's on the ingredients in our product. And there's research that if you go online and you start doing a search, you'll find research that says this helps with repairing the damaged skin cells that have been damaged by the UVA, UVB rays. So I hope that answers your question, Sheila.
I think most of us who are using the age pill have had just phenomenal result with our skin. I mean, it was my first indication that a change had happened in my body. And even yesterday, you can't see this, and you don't know how bad my hands looked before, but I was sitting at a stoplight yesterday, waiting for the light to change, and I glanced down at my hand and I went, I can't believe what my hand looks like. I'm still just totally amazed just looking at my hands, not to mention all the parts of my body. But,
Right.
you know, the other thing that's changed for me is being a redhead, I burn a lot. All my life, I've been fried here and there, you know, and
Mhm.
I don't burn anymore. I mean, I've got a better tan than I've ever had in my life right now. I mean, usually it's just freckles pop out and you burn. That's it, you know, but I actually have a tan this year. And I've noticed that when I do burn, because I don't use sunblock at all, when I go out and work outside and do get slightly burned, by the next day, it's gone. The
It's
burn is
gone.
gone. My body has healed it overnight. It's
That's
amazing.
right. Yeah, you know, I've noticed the same thing, Andrea. I thought it was kind of a fluke. I thought maybe it was because I started going to Australia in the winter and I'm getting exposed to more of the UVA, UVB rays when I'm down there, and maybe it's because I'm getting exposed to the sun all year round. But when you say that, hey, you're noticing the same thing and you don't go to Australia in the winter, it must have something to do with what we're doing. Because for me, oh yeah, I'd go out in the sun for 15 minutes and I'd be sunburned. Now I
Right.
can be outside. Like I mowed my lawn yesterday. It takes me 2 hours to mow my lawn, and my skin didn't get red at all.
Yeah, I'm outside like most of the summer, and it used to be I just have to lather myself in sunblock, you know, or I'd be fried, and I'm not anymore.
Yep, and then that sunblock has all those damaging chemicals in them,
Right.
the parabens and all that.
Yep. So I don't use
So
that anymore.
yeah, yeah. So you know, anyhow, that's kind of a you know, I mean, we've taken up 45 minutes of people's time. Hopefully, we were able to answer some questions. You know, so Andrea, I'll let you close out the call. Thanks for being here with me every week, and I always look forward to it. I like this call because it gives us a chance to really share some science, to share some real information with people. You know, so many times I think that people don't know where to turn, and so
Right.
you know, let's try and do a Q&A maybe once a month on this call.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. We'll try to organize that for a specific week, and people can plan ahead to ask their questions. You know, maybe we'll put a post out there on the Doctor's Clinic, Doc Fizz and Friends page, and people can post on it all week, and we can just go down that list. That might
There
be a
you
good
go.
way to do it. Yeah.
I'll let you
So,
close out the call. Thanks, everyone.
yeah, it looks wonderful there. Enjoy your day. Thank you,
Look at
Doc,
that
for
blue
being with
sky.
us again. Yeah. And normal clouds. Love it. Um, So thank you for being here every Tuesday, and thank our audience for tuning in and joining us, sharing this with other people, maybe sharing it to a social media page where people can see how we are optimizing our health and how they can too. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.